Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com. Big changes coming to Victoria Regional Airport. The construction timeline travelers should know. Your voice matters tonight in Goliad County. The heated debate over a beloved historic monument. Plus, tensions rise in Los Angeles as protests continue and law enforcement presence remains strong.
Our weather pattern has changed dramatically, folks, from that hot, steamy stuff. Now we're getting into the rain business. Now, this was today. Right now, we have a couple of storms along the I-10 corridor, but the big stuff is out in West Texas. We'll be talking about that coming up in a moment.
And Prodigy softball plays as well at the NCS State Softball Tournament at the U Sports Complex this past weekend. Highlight some of the teams and some of the players later on in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Shauna Curry has the night off. You might have to adjust your plans if you're flying out of the Victoria Regional Airport this summer. Starting Monday, August 4th, the runway and taxiway used by United Airlines will shut down for major upgrades. The goal is to meet FAA standards and make room for larger planes in the future. The closure runs through September 5th and only affects commercial airline flights, not private planes. If you're flying United during that time, you can contact the company to find out if your flight will be impacted. Here's your viewer poll tonight. Will the runway and taxiway closure of Victoria Regional affect your travel plans? The choices are yes, I will need to change my plans, no, my plans remain the same, or I don't have any flight scheduled, and that is the popular choice right now. 68% of our voters going that way. We thank you for voting. We want to hear from you. Share your thoughts on crossroadstoday.com/vote. We'll have the latest results at 10. The Goliad County Commissioner selected a committee to lead the conversation surrounding a proposed sale of the Fannin Monument. The Goliad County Historical Commission was chosen to research, take resident feedback, and give their findings to the county commissioners. The county made the decision during today's Commissioners Court meeting, saying the group is already familiar with the town's historical markers. A town hall discussion followed. The question is whether or not Goliad County should turn over the monument to the Texas Historical Commission in exchange for $1 million. THC Executive Director Joseph Bell plans to give a presentation on the state's plans for the monument. Disabled Americans Veterans Auxiliary 169 is hosting its 7th annual Veterans Picnic to celebrate veterans and their families. DAV Auxiliary Unit Vice Commander Janet Nelson invites any and everybody to be a part of the celebration. She says she appreciates all veterans and recognizes their sacrifice. Their mission is to honor and appreciate local veterans and families on Independence Day.
Never feel like we don't care about you. We do, and we try to be out in the community in force to make you feel loved.
Nelson says these events are near and dear to the organization. She intends to show recognition for the veterans. The picnic will be on Friday, July 4th at 2 p.m. A reminder this week for local business and community leaders, the Victoria Economic Development Corporation's regional partnership is hosting a special meeting tomorrow morning. The event takes place at 702 North Main Street inside room 205 starting at 7:30. Texas State Representative A.J. Louderback will be the guest speaker, highlighting legislative priorities for the region. This meeting is open to the public and anyone can join the conversation. Severe weather left a Texas news station with major damage over the weekend. Late Sunday night, a tornado hit KXTS in Abilene. The twister destroyed the station's tower and impacted much of the building as well. The storm caved the garage in and blew off the studio's roof. There were no injuries. The station is assessing the damage and working to get back on the air. Let's go to Mac Pettis with a first look at the forecast. Can you imagine, Mac, being on the air at something like that at that time and then the roof blows away from the studio?
Well, at least we know it's coming. I would like to think that we were on top of the position of the storm and where we were, but no, you're right. It's pretty sad when it happens, so we wish them the best. Here we are down here. At this hour, we have some storms up here along I-10 corridor. If you're along I-10, think about that. But tonight, big storms firing out in West Texas. They'll be visiting us over the next few days. So we're looking for rain most of the week. We'll talk about it in just a few minutes. Back to you, Don.
Mac, thank you. Staff vacancies hit Texas weather offices as they brace for a busy hurricane season. Houston's National Weather Service office lost its head meteorologist and a federal requirement to cut 10% of NOAA's staff. Read this full Texas Tribune article on our website, crossroadstoday.com. A week after King of the Hill voice actor Jonathan Joss was murdered in San Antonio, a vigil was held to celebrate his life. Many in attendance also demanded accountability and justice for his murder in what friends and loved ones claim was a hate crime. Joss was reportedly shot and killed by a neighbor. Police say Joss and 59-year-old Sigfredo Alvarez had gotten into an argument prior to the shooting. Joss's husband says they were constantly harassed for their sexual orientation. In Los Angeles, hundreds took to the streets over the weekend to protest recent immigration raids across the city. The demonstrations erupted on Friday after at least 44 people were arrested by federal immigration agents, and it continued Sunday, resulting in clashes between law enforcement and protesters. President Trump deployed 2,000 National Guard members in response.
The streets of downtown Los Angeles are relatively calm this morning, a stark difference from what it was just a few hours ago and in the overnight hours. And that is in part due to the Los Angeles Police Department's order that this area is an unlawful assembly area. However, those crowds did disperse, but the presence of law enforcement is still going very strong. We've seen Los Angeles Police Department blocking the intersection that leads to this federal facility behind us. And behind them this morning we saw a group of National Guardsmen standing by with shields in hand to respond in case it was necessary. Tensions are rising in the Los Angeles area. Over the weekend, protesters clashed with federal and local law enforcement agents. Sunday, marking the third day of demonstrations in response to recent immigration raids across California, where dozens of people were arrested as part of the White House's crackdown on unauthorized immigration.
Our community is in terror, is scared to just live, to just exist.
Sunday, the Los Angeles Police Department declared protests outside the Metropolitan Detention Center an unlawful assembly and authorized use of less lethal munitions. The unrest spilling over onto the 101 freeway, with demonstrators temporarily halting traffic that afternoon. While the protests play out on the LA streets, the federal and state governments are at odds. A coalition of 22 Democratic governors condemned President Donald Trump's deployment of 2,000 National Guard, calling the move an alarming abuse of power. But President Trump says it's to help restore order. Both California Governor Gavin Newsom and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass are urging peace and denouncing this deployment of troops.
What we're seeing in Los Angeles is chaos that is provoked by the administration, and deploying federalized troops is a dangerous escalation.
Now, it's been a decade since a president deployed the National Guard to a state without that state's request or consent. Governor Gavin Newsom this morning doubling down on what he says are his intentions to sue the Trump administration over this move. Reporting in Los Angeles, I'm Maribel Gonzalez.
The U.S. State Department ordered diplomatic posts around the world to resume processing Harvard University student and exchange visitor visas. Early last week, the Trump administration told them to refuse visa applicants for students and researchers going to Harvard, but a district judge issued a temporary restraining order blocking the move. The Trump administration and Harvard both previously cited concerns about whether foreign consulates were properly processing visas for prospective Harvard students. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell, then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. President Trump revealed a new initiative for American families. How the latest proposal could change the way families save for their children. That's coming up on 25 News Now at 6. Also ahead, a special bond and a custom racing chair are helping two runners chase big goals. And goes into effect today amid rising tension over the Trump administration's intensifying immigration crackdown. At the White House, Julia Benbrook reports why the administration says it is enacting this now and what it means going forward.
President Donald Trump's sweeping new travel ban is now in effect. As of Monday, most citizens from a dozen countries, mostly from Africa and the Middle East, are now barred from entering the United States. In addition to the 12 countries the ban applies to, it also imposes heightened restrictions on 7 others. Groups that provide aid and resettlement help to refugees quickly denounced the move. When Trump signed the proclamation last week, he framed it as a way to protect the United States, saying, quote, "We cannot have open migration from any country where we cannot safely and reliably vet and screen those who seek to enter the United States."
The strength of the restrictions we're applying depends on the severity of the threat posed. The list is subject to revision based on whether material improvements are made, and likewise new countries can be added as threats emerge around the world.
According to the guidance issued from the State Department, the ban applies to those in impacted countries who do not have visas issued before the effective date, and that visa applications from the affected nations will still be reviewed and approved as appropriate. Those exempt include dual nationals, diplomats, and government officials, as well as some athletes and coaches for major sporting events like the World Cup and the 2028 Olympics. Trump tied the announcement of the new restrictions to the recent terrorist attack in Boulder, Colorado. He said that it underscored the dangers posed by some visitors who overstay their visas. The man charged in that attack is from Egypt, a country that is not on Trump's restricted list. At the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Today, President Trump announced a new pilot program that's part of his domestic policy bill. The program would provide every American newborn with a $1,000 investment in an index fund. During a roundtable at the White House, the president called them Trump accounts. In addition to the $1,000 from the government, guardians and other entities will be able to contribute up to $5,000 every year of the child's life. The program is included in the funding bill already passed by the House, but the Senate has not yet voted on it. Graduation season is winding down, and we're celebrating the class of 2025 as they graduate. Congratulations to Ania. The message says, "I am very proud of you. You did it." As you head off to your new chapter in your life, remember to keep God first. Reach for the stars. Follow your dreams. Love your dad, great-grandmother, and your grandmother, Ruth. Congratulations to Roman. The message says, "Wishing you a lifetime of success, happiness, and glory as you embark on life's new marvelous journey. Congratulations on your accomplishments. Much love from mom, family, and friends." Congratulations to Malia. The message says, "Congratulations to Malia Longoria. Your family is so proud of you. We love you." You have until June 13th, that's this Friday, to send in a photo and heartfelt message for your 2025 grad. We're featuring the grads on air and on social media. To send yours, go to crossroadstoday.com, then click the Entertainment tab, then click the Contest tab. A special road race took place in Minnesota this past weekend. It was the first unified 5K race that gives runners of all abilities the chance to compete, and in one case, start their running journey to qualify for the Boston Marathon.
It's my favorite way of running, so there's nothing better than this.
A special duo started one of many road races together. Mark Halsey and Moses Cooper have a bond that runs deep.
We have just a wonderful time together, and I check on him, make sure he's good, and he just inspires the heck out of me to run hard.
Sunday morning was the first annual Unified 5K in Minnesota, a race series that's going around the country to bring together athletes of all abilities. For Mark and Moses, this race day was special because they were gifted a customized running chair for Moses, who has cerebral palsy, to use.
It's very generous. This is a fantastic racing chair, and we really just want to make sure that, Mo feels good in it, and I think it worked out pretty good, yeah?
Yeah. Moses' chair costs about $5,000, but Hoyt Running Chairs and race organizers Adapt X gave it to him for free.
This personally means a lot to me, so I run as a duo as well up in Massachusetts with Team Hoyt. So the Hoyt running chairs is what helped us make the donation.
These races will continue to fundraise the money to give more athletes the equipment they need to compete.
It shows people that there can be a lot more meaning behind the miles that you run.
Hoyt also customized Moses' chair to look like the Flash from DC Comics.
We're all about Flash, and that's where he gets his energy from, right? And then you pass it on to me.
Yeah. Using this running chair, Mark and Moses plan to accomplish big goals.
We're going to try a Boston qualifying race at the Grandma's Marathon.
Mark hopes more competitors stop looking at running as an individual sport and instead compete as a team.
The moment you get to go out there and work with adaptive athletes and bring this opportunity to them, the rewards are, you can't even put words to it. It's just so spectacular.
Mark and Moses, who came in first place as a duo in the race, will compete in Grandma's Marathon in Duluth, Minnesota later this month.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. We've got to give you a heads up that while we may be quiet here in Victoria County, we've got to look upstream. Here's I-10. You can see some nasty thunderstorms rolling towards Sealy, getting very close to Columbus, as you can see right there, and also just about to get into the Schulenburg area. If you've got friends up in that area or plan on getting on I-10, you're going to be dealing with that as well. I'm thinking, no, it looks like Buc-ee's is okay. We'll have all your forecasts, and it's a wet forecast coming up in just a moment. Well, good afternoon, everyone. 91 degrees right about now. Rather steamy, wouldn't you say? We had a heat index that caught up to 108 today, so that's why you were perspiring so much. 93 was our high. 92 is the average high for the temperature for this time of year, and we've been as warm as 99. We actually had a few sprinkles that rolled around the county earlier in the day, but that activity has decreased. It's the stuff up here along I-10 that's giving me a little bit of a worry now. I'm going to show you this map because this is not the stuff that's going to be here all week. It's up here. We've got a big cluster of storms that's rolling out of New Mexico. It's going to be kind of like 2 weeks ago when we had three different waves of storms that came from all the way down into our area, all the way from West Texas. Now, here's what we're talking about in the short term. Here's Sealy, there's Columbus, there's Schulenburg, and Welder looks like it's just about to get that big thunderstorm. This one's got possible hail in it. You can see the little pink top up there. So there, if you happen to be going in that direction, keep that in mind. This activity should decrease once the sun goes down, but that stuff out west, well, it's a very large pattern change for us. What we now have is the possibility of getting about 3 waves of storms rolling from that area of the world all the way down into the crossroads. Now, in the meantime, the humidity, which was really high today, is actually going to lower a little bit because of the cloud cover and the rain, which would be significant on Wednesday and Thursday. So we have a good shot at getting, I'm thinking, 2 to 4 inches of rain this week. Now tomorrow, the severe weather outlook has us with a marginal chance of getting some severe weather around not only our area, but you can see the path all the way back to Midland, okay? So that's the path where all those storms are going to be rolling around. This is the same thing that happened about 3 weeks ago when we had those 3 waves of storms. It's going to be like that today. Now, what you see here, obviously, when you get to green, that's cooler weather. When it gets to red, it's hotter weather. And that's pressure. That's the level of pressure that's on top of it. So here, the high, that's the highest pressure. Watch this. What's happening is that we're going to see this pocket of low pressure develop over us, and that's our 2 and 3 days of thunder showers. Then high pressure rebuilds back into the west this week, and we still continue with that northwesterly flow. So yeah, we're in the storm business. Watch this. This is Future Tracker. We start, you see that blob right there going through Austin? This is tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. So about 10 o'clock or noontime, it should be in our area. So look for stormy weather beginning tomorrow and extending heavily as we get into Wednesday and Thursday. Tomorrow we should get up to about 89 as a high in Port Lavaca, about 91 in Cuero, so slightly cooler, like if I can use that word. But the big news, of course, is that we have alert days up. Stormy weather on Tuesday, big on Wednesday, possible flooding by the time we get to Thursday, and even Friday additional showers, and we may have to extend that. So all of a sudden from hot and steamy to wet and soggy. That's your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. And also, you know, it's hurricane season, so we've got something really special for you. And so here goes. Will your family be ready, and will they be storm ready when the storm arrives? Well, Aztec Ford down in Goliad is giving you a chance to win a free generator to keep your home powered when you need it most. It's real quick and easy. It could save you big when the lights go out, if they do in a storm. All you got to do is go to crossroadstoday.com to register for the Storm Ready Power giveaway. Proudly sponsored by Aztec Ford and Goliad. You want to click on the menu. At the top left, there's 3 little bars. Click on that, then go down to Entertainment, and then go down to Contest. And there you can give us your email and sign up for the Storm Ready Power giveaway, which will go on for about 3 or 4 more weeks. So you got a little time, but I'm going to be live in Goliad on Friday, making sure people know about this. So thanks to Aztec Ford in Goliad for helping us out with this. Don, over to you.
Mac, thank you. Max Williams is here talking about some state history made this weekend by a Victoria coach. Is that right, Max?
That's right, Don. Yeah, former Generals head coach there, Michael Orrs, made some history this past weekend there in the high school ranks. So we'll find out what just happened there coming up in sports. This past weekend, the regional 7-on-7 tournament took place here across the entire state of Texas. And after this past weekend, we had 4 teams who made it here at the Crossroads into the state tournament. These teams will be Tidehaven, Ganado, Cuero, and Bay City. All 4 of these teams will be competing there at the state 7-on-7 tournament that'll be held at College Station. It'll be from June 26th to the 27th. Some players to watch there going into the state tournament will be Ganado's Austin Pena from last year, and then Cuero's Walker Deed. So wish them luck and then the rest of the team's luck there in a few weeks. Now over to some Generals with head coach Michael Orros. This Saturday led the Kingwood Mustangs out there in the Houston area to their first ever state title victory since 2005 after they beat the Tomball in that championship game. And again, they had multiple alumni that, according to Orros, said they had multiple alumni that attended the game there Saturday and was glad to see everyone in attendance to see this special moment. So props up there for Orros there. He's the first ever TCL coach to win there, again, the championship for the Generals and then win it there for Kingwood there in a span of a couple of months. What about a credible finish there at the NCS South Texas State Tournament there? Prodigy softball team out of Victoria just clinched the 12U championship title in a thrilling showdown. They faced faced off against the MV Panthers in a nail-biting final game, coming out top with a hard-fought 2-1 victory. This young team showed tremendous skill, heart, and determination to bring home the championship trophy. Congratulations, Prodigy Softball, true champions of the 12U division. Here's a word from a few players from this championship team.
This tournament, I felt that we all fought together and we all did really good and fought back against hard teams. Hit easy base hits, 1 inning at a time. You got to win the inning.
Everybody's been so nice. Other teams too. Everybody has such great sportsmanship. Definitely keeping my team up and going and being loud for everybody.
I've been doing pretty good. I mean, I had a couple of errors. I could have swung at better balls, but I'm doing pretty good.
Now for Prodigy Softball to high school softball, or again yesterday the Coastal Bend Coach Association All-Star Game was held there at Cabinets Field, and from this All-Star Game we only had one participant here from the Crossroads compete, in Victoria East Mia de los Santos, and Gratzer, again, she competed there for Team Salinas, which consisted of a lot of Corpus Christi players there in this All-Star Game. So again, props up there to being part of the CBA All-Star Game with a lot of different people out there from Corpus. And finally this weekend the Houston Texans got themselves a new running back in Cleveland Browns, Nick Chubb. Chubb so far in his career has ran for a total of 6,843 total yards and has 51 total touchdowns. Also 5 receiving touchdowns as well. He'll be added there in that starting running back rotation there with Joe Mixon, Damian Pierce, and their 4th round draft pick that they got here in this past draft in USC's Woody Marks. So Don, I go to you for this one. I mean, for the Texans, they're trying to get their identity back here this season. What do you think of kind of getting Nick Chubb there on the team for the Texans this season?
I was looking around the internet last night and I saw with Nick Chubb on the team, the Texans, according to this person, had the 3rd best backfield in the National Football League. So that's saying a lot, and that's really good for the Texans, so many Texans fans out there. Max, thank you, and we're back in a moment. A new themed Jeep is bringing smiles to South Mississippi and grabbing the attention of anyone who happens to drive by it. And the Hurricane Tracking Guide 2025 is here. Stay prepared and stay safe. Pick up your free copy at these locations: Full of Pep in Cuero,
Yes.
El Campo Cycle Center, Palace Bingo in Victoria, Coastal Bend College in Beeville, Went Services in Victoria, Victoria All Sports, and Aztec Ford in Goliad. Don't wait. Get yours today.
Hot off the presses. They're hot. Look,
off the presses. Yeah, don't get burned. But if you really want to get burned, go outside.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you can get sauteed if you go outside.
I'm telling
you. That steamy. The thing is, everything's changed, folks. Well, first of all, tonight up north on I-10, we've got some storms. Tomorrow, being Tuesday, we've got a good chance of getting some thunder showers around the area that will last through most of the week. So keep that in mind. It looks like a stormy week ahead. Don?
Well, and now are we talking about flooding possibly in the Crossroads, or just a lot of rain?
Well, we're going to get a lot of rain Tuesday and Wednesday, and by Thursday I do believe we'll have a little bit of flooding problems because, believe it or not, the ground is still kind of saturated from 2 weeks ago. So yeah, if additional runoff will cause flooding. So, you know, the low water crossings, the county roads that are fairly low, just watch out for that because this rain's going to be with us for about 3 or 4 days.
3 or 4 days. Well, we need it, but not that much.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We want the rain, not the problems.
That's right.
absolutely.
That's right. All right, Mac, thank you. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you tonight for 25 News Now at 10.